at it again, and this time we got a review for Chris Pratt's new movie, Mercy. Yes, I got to see the new Chris Pratt movie called Mercy, also starring Rebecca Fergeson as the judge. Also has Anabelle Wallis in this movie as well. But anyway, so this movie basically follows Chris Pratt's character as he is put on trial in this new AI-generated where you basically can have a chance to prove your innocence. You get 90 minutes. You have all access to videos and evidence, and you have 90 minutes to prove that you did not do it. And they basically did this because how bad crime was getting. And Chris Pratt is a detective that ends up getting arrested for the death of his wife, and he has to prove that he did not do it. And he has to use all the resources available. So, going into this movie, I did not expect much. I honestly thought this movie was going to suck. I thought the concept looked really cool. I thought, there's something that, could go well. But Chris Pratt's recently running movies, some of the Amazon stuff, I just was like, I don't know. I feel like this movie's probably not really going to hit, and I really didn't care for the trailers. But we'll see what happens. So what I'll say is I don't dislike this movie as much as I thought I would. I think it's okay. I think it's a TV movie. But let's go ahead and get into the positives. I think the concept is a cool idea. I like the idea of having to prove your innocence, having 90 minutes to do it, doing it through AI, the judge's AI. It kind of gives you that fear of the future of what artificial intelligence can and will be. And it really brings it to the screen. And I do think this movie, with the AI stuff, while I do think it has its detractors with the movie, I also think at times it does make the movie intense, and it does it in a decent job of it. And I think this movie, thankfully this movie's not longer, because I do think, even being an hour and 40 minutes, I even feel like it drags in spots, but it's a movie that should be contained, should be quick, because you have an hour and a half, so it really shouldn't be much longer than that. But yeah, I thought the movie did a good job of introducing this concept, dealing with this concept, dealing with AI. I thought, so once we get the negatives, one of my big issues is Chris Pratt, which I know that's kind of going around. Granted, I definitely didn't dislike him as much as some of the stuff I've seen, but which we'll get to that. I will say the actress that plays his daughter in this movie, I do think their scenes are pretty good together, and mostly from her side, especially the scenes where he's trying to convince his daughter that he did not do it, and just those emotional moments. I thought it came really across from her side. And you felt those emotional moments. I imagine if you're a dad, I'm not, but I imagine being in that spot, those moments probably come across more than even some others would. So I thought some of the more emotional moments somewhat worked, but we'll get to why I also don't think they worked. But I think all in all, the biggest positives of this movie is just, I think the concept, if done right, is entertaining, and it is you are excited to see what happened next, because it kind of does keep you on the edge of your seat because it's so fast paced. But unfortunately, as we get to the negatives, while I think this movie's fast paced, I do think because we're dealing with a lot of cameras and we're not necessarily on site with these, you're mostly looking from the angle of Chris Pratt's character, Chris. the action scenes don't always work for me. They kind of don't come off the best. I honestly think more the intense moments or more the scary moments, or like there's a scene where I can't really say without giving away, but they see something within his house that happens, and I'm like, well, that's really well done through the concept of this movie. But then you'll have action scenes that I just don't think come off very well. They're not lazy, but they lack the thrill of most action scenes, which is unfortunate. The big thing of this movie is I don't think Chris Pratt works in this role. It's hard for me to say he mailed it in. Maybe he did. I just don't. There's moments in this movie with his daughter and finding out about his wife. I just don't think he delivers in the emotional parts. And I felt like, man, and I know I said this in the short I did, if you got an actor like Jake Gyllenhaal, I'm not saying he would do a movie like this, but he has been in movies like this. I mean, I know Guilty isn't necessarily like this movie, but it does have a similar maybe not circumstance, but like where you basically are focused on this actor. Like the problem of this movie is the actor has to be great because you're so focused on this actor and his like emotions and his facial expressions that it has to go well, or like you're just not as into the movie. And while the emotional moments worked somewhat because of the daughter, I thought the daughter had pretty good acting scenes. Chris Pratt did not come through in those moments, so it kind of ruined the scenes. And if you had somebody like Jake Gyllenhaal, who you know is coming through every time with those emotional scenes and facial expressions, not even Jake Gyllenhaal, but there's other guys you could have thrown out there that you just needed to be better in those moments. And Chris Pratt just didn't do that. Otherwise, I thought he was okay. I don't think in the moments where he's trying to figure out, how to find out who killed his wife, I thought that stuff was good. I thought you got more locked in Chris Pratt, but it's just a lot of it was just the emotional moments. I just never bought them, and I feel like it hurt the movie. The movie is definitely. This movie is a TV movie, so I don't know if you can really ever say it's not fully on Chris Pratt. Like I said, I don't like some of the action sequences, but also just this movie is not really built for theater, in my opinion. This is a movie that you randomly find, especially when you had cable, where you randomly find that it's on cable, and you're like, oh, okay, like this movie's on, or not even this movie's on. Oh, I remember seeing a trailer for this. I'll check it out, and you end up liking it somewhat. It's decent, it does its job. But I would not recommend this in the movie theaters. Also, one more thing before we get into the grading, the dialogue is not very good in this movie, which I can get past. I think the acting is not the best as we got with Chris Pratt, but also the person that plays his partner in this movie I think is really bad. Yeah, and I don't think she delivers really at all. I think it's a waste of Anabelle Wallis, who I really like from *Malignant* and *Annabelle*, and I think it's a waste of Rebecca Fergeson because I feel like anybody could have played the person, the AI judge in this movie. Like I can't say she didn't give anything to the movie, but like I just felt like it was a waste of her as an actress because she's a really good actress. This movie also has a twist. That's all I'm gonna I'm not gonna go too deep into it. That I don't think works at all. It is your typical like old school type twist kind of. Well, maybe not old school, but just not that well thought out. Just more of like, wow, trying to like get people, but it doesn't actually work within the movie, in my opinion. That's all I'm gonna say because I'm not gonna spoil anything. Grading wise, as I kind of was hinting towards, we have the new system. I would honestly, I don't think it's a skip. Well, it's a skip as far as movie theater goes, but this is definitely the type of movie that you wait for streaming. You wait for streaming, wait for it to get on streaming. I feel like you might enjoy it more in that case. I feel like this movie, unfortunately, gets hurt if you go see it in theaters because I just don't think it's a theater movie. I think it's a find it on streaming type of film. So wait for it, honestly. But overall, I thought it was okay. It's watchable. There's some fun, intense moments. I like the concept. But unfortunately, the acting in Chris Pratt and some of the ending stuff just doesn't really work and hurts the movie overall. But yeah, guys, that's my grade on that, or my placement on that movie, The Mercy. We got a bunch of reviews coming up. Send Help is next week. I'm really excited for that film. Horror has been on a roll. I know I have heard the new Silent Hill is not great. I don't know that I'm going to be able to go check that out, but we'll see. But Send Help, I'm super excited for. I know we got the new Dracula movie coming out. And I know it's not February yet, but we do got Scream 7 coming. I will be doing, Scream rankings, a lot of anticipation stuff with that movie, and I'm really excited I'm excited because I love horror. There are some things about Scream I'm not excited about, but we'll get to that as we get closer. But yeah, guys, that's my review for Mercy. Let me know down in the comments, did you like it? Did you not like it? Do you think it's a theater movie? Do you not think it's a theater movie? What's your thoughts on Chris Pratt? Just let me know down in the comments. And as always, guys, I'll see you next time.